But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the shirt.
Muted. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
That's right, Brett Walsh. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 81 square meters of the best volleyball coverage on the internet. This is the 9x9, episode 108. This is February 12th. That's Monday, February 12th, 2024. My name is Rob St. Clair, live from Chicago. That is Everett Delorme, live from Toronto, north of the border. Graham Vigrass, that is right. You are on the title screen because when you win a golden set in CEV competition, you get love from the show. So I can't wait to talk about that. Graham, thank you for watching. Thank the rest of you for watching. This is going to be a good one because we got a big week. We got a lot of ball to talk about.
A lot of ball. Real quick, Graham, just to pass on the notice, the members of the Discord in Canada, in the Canada section, would like to ask you to come back for this summer. That's just a general note. They've noted that especially you and Gord have been playing great. It'd be great to see you in a Maple Volleys jersey one last time, especially at an Olympic Games. So yeah, just a thought. But
a certain tournament going down in Paris later this summer.
Yeah, exactly. We've already booked our tickets, so why not bring the board back together again? But Rob, a bit of a massive week happened, and we've got a big week coming up this week as well. No Champions League this week,
right?
But there will be plenty of other competitions. But of course, with the first playoff round of the Champions League going down last week, we finally know what is going to be happening now for the quarterfinals. And here we take a look. And Graham's Viagrass Las Palmas team is going to be traveling to Turkey to take on Ziraatbank. We've also got Piacenza and Jastrzębie Halkbank taking on Lube, a little rematch from last year's quarterfinals, and then Berlin taking on Trentino. I absolutely love some of these matchups. You have to love the rematch of Halkbank against Lube. I think that one's going to be a spicy one. And honestly, I think whoever wins that matchup, Rob, could very well go on and win to win the competition.
Ooh, that's a spicy take about winning the competition, because as we look at the full bracket, the winner of Lube versus Halkbank will almost definitely take on Trentino in the next round. Because
I might actually retract
that. I personally think that Trentino will be substantially favored over Berlin. But I'm really excited about all four of these quarterfinals. We've known about Piacenza versus JSW for a while. We had plenty of drama in the playoff round. We had a golden set. Speaking of Graham Vigrass's Guaguas Las Palmas team, that was awesome. Golden sets are great. Yeah, Lube versus Halkbank I think is going to be awesome. JSW versus Piacenza I think is going to be a fantastic series, but we've got plenty of time. We'll break down these more kind of on next Monday's show because, like you said, Everett, there's no Champions League this week. We've got a week off before the quarterfinal round, but we do have a lot to catch up on in what happened in the second legs of the playoffs. So we've kind of been talking about them grouped in sort of three different tiers of, like the Ronnie Cuban Spike tier list for perhaps. Certainly no Gracias por Participar teams, but there's definitely some tiers. So which one of the three series you want to start with?
I think I want to go right into the golden set. I want to go right in to Guaguas and Prague, because I think that one there was so much on the line for both those teams. You know what I mean? Like a spot in the Champions League quarterfinals for not only either of these teams, but either these leagues and these countries would be massive. So yeah, let's start with that one. What did you think overall of the match?
So it was very fun to watch. The crowd in Prague was very good. That shouldn't be surprising to anyone. And it was just a fascinating case of the format of Champions League and just how that influences how a team plays based on what happened in the first leg. Because in Prague, what we knew that after Guaguas won 3-0 the previous week, that the worst they could do is get to a golden set. So it did, and it took them a while to play some really good ball. They went down 2-0. Guaguas played great in the third, grabbed it 25-22, ended up losing the match, but then kind of dominated in the golden set. I mean, they went up 5-1. They were up 10-5, and that was kind of it. And we'll talk about another golden set that we saw later on, but it was basically the same thing where the team at home, the first leg, won at home, lost on the road, and then won the golden set immediately after that loss. And I feel like that's the more rare way that you usually see that happen, especially to win a match at home and then play a golden set immediately after the win and not really even show up, kind of like Prague did. Is just really fascinating.
Yeah, I think for me there was a few factors. I mean, first and foremost, like Las Palmas Guaguas has veteran guys on their team. You've got 2
100%.
guys. You've got 2 guys who have played in Olympic Games, whereas Prague is. You do have but you do have Pablo Carrera, so you do have one Olympian on that team. But other than that, you've got some younger guys around them. But also, I think you see oftentimes, like, how often do you see, Robin, in preseason when like 2 teams play, and it might be a fantastic team, a crappy team, but it's usually like 4-1. It'd be really hard to beat a team like in 4 sets like that and really dominate them. And I know in the other golden set, I didn't watch this one as intensively, but there was a definitive change in the play of winning teams from the actual game to the actual golden set, and I think that's such not an easy thing to do. But it's almost like the Super Bowl last night. Like, if you go second, you have that ability to know what needs to be done, and
Great
I think that if you lose that match, you kind of lull that team into a false sense of security, change up a few things, and it's a sprint, right? And it usually takes a team around half a set to make an adjustment. So, but the problem is you don't have half a set in that golden set. You only have
No, you don't.
So
Yeah,
I think if you're a good team, you can game plan for it and really adjust things well.
that's an excellent point. Yeah, you combine that with a bunch of dudes with a ton of experience. I think that Guaguas probably has 3 Olympians on it, because you have Vigras, and then you have the 2 Argentinians. Like Nicolas Bruno, I assume, played in the Olympics at some point. But Martin Ramos did for Argentina as well. He was one of their middles for a long time. So bunch of dudes who have played at super high levels. And yeah, Guaguas was in a fantastic position because they were able to use the main part of the match as just data collection. Like, the pressure wasn't on them until the golden set. Once they had already they had been in a flow, they had understood how Prague was playing that day. The fact that Luis Eliana Estrada was absolutely automatic on offense, but was completely a liability in serving and reception, and they definitely picked on him pretty hard in the golden set. It's just of the fascinating example of the Champions League format, and it's just the best thing in all of volleyball. When a golden set happens, it's just the best thing in all of volleyball. So much fun to watch. I loved Guaguas's coach. He was insanely animated on the sidelines. Just loved his energy. And even though sometimes we have these home and away series where it produces like a set or a couple sets at the end of the second leg that are completely meaningless, that sucks. But I'll take that for the trade-off of the intensity of a golden set. It's just so worth it when it happens.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't really think much of Estrada, so that's kind of par for the course. The fact that he, you can tell that they were pinching him out with the libero, but he still got targeted 25 times and passed 0% excellent. He got targeted 25 times and never passed a perfect pass.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That is absolute garbage. Get your crap out of here. No more of this shit. Get off Instagram and go pass a few balls, like serving machine or something, Estrada. That's terrible.
Yep. In the golden set alone, 8 attempts in reception, got aced once, 0 positive passes.
How are you getting sets?
If you click set 4, like the set 4 stats in the CEV link, it kind of counts the golden set as that's the stats for the golden set in particular. So smartly so. Guaguas is just tearing the cover off the ball directly at Luis Eliana Estrada, and Ronnie Cuban Spike in the chat. He knows very well that the type of player, just the most Cuban, the most stereotypically Cuban of all Cuban players.
Also, Ronnie is trying to chirp us with Eric Lepke, who literally won an MVP this weekend and beat Simone's Piacenza. So keep your chirping, Ronnie. It absolutely fuels me. I absolutely love it. Yeah. All in all, good win for Guaguas. Gonna love to see what's gonna happen for them in the next round against.
Yeah, that will be a challenging matchup. But again, I think we talked about it after pools were over. But huge congrats to Guaguas for fighting through the preliminary rounds of Champions League, getting out of pools and winning a playoff series. That's a remarkable achievement.
Yeah, I mean, last team to do that was Trentino back in 2021, 2022.
Yeah, they went all
Remember-
the way to the finals, but that was a weirder situation for sure.
Yeah, 100%. That was also back when there was Russian teams in the tournament. And, I mean, things have changed a little bit since then. All right, Rob, do you want to move on to Tools against Berlin? I did not watch this game. I know you did watch this game a little bit,
Yep.
but it looks like Berlin just kind of turned things on and absolutely dominated Tools on their home court as well.
Yeah, it was a clapping. It was not close. All Berlin needed was 2 sets. I mean, I was on the show here last week talking about that this had golden set potential because I had faith in Tours and their ability to play at home, and couldn't have been more wrong about that. Yeah, after the second set, Berlin took it was over. Everybody knew it, so everybody made wholesale lineup changes in the third. Just kind of a side effect of the format. But yeah, statistically, nothing really jumped out to me. I mean, Abuba was Abuba, 11 for 20 with 5 errors, pretty typical. Berlin served the ball pretty well. Mark Schotela was absolutely automatic, 11 for 14 in 2 sets. Reception for Berlin was much better. Offense for Berlin was much better. They were just the better team. They were just the better team by kind of leaps and bounds. And they were up by, they were up by even more. They ended up winning the second set, like the do or die set for Tours. 25-18 was the final score. It wasn't even that close. Like Berlin dominated them from the get-go in that second set. And yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more drama here, but this is what Berlin can play like at their peak execution level. They will be a difficult team for Trentino to beat in the next round if they play like that. Big if, and of an entirely different matchup.
Yeah, that's a big if.
Yeah, I know.
You know, that's kind of like, hey, I know this marathon's going to be entirely uphill, but if you run at the same pace you did when you're going downhill, you might be able to win this thing. You know, that's that to me, that's kind of what it sounds like. Like, if you can play this well against arguably the best team in the world right now, maybe. I see them winning maybe a set over the 2 matches.
I'm kind of inclined to agree with you. I think just about anyone. I mean, this is Berlin every single year. Like they get out of pools pretty much every year. They upset one team. Like they punch above their weight class. They do a great job defending home court. But then like their ceiling is really the quarterfinals. Like just at that point, you get too many teams from better volleyball countries that just have too much talent. And there's nothing to be ashamed of there.
When you consider the league that Berlin comes from, right? The Bundesliga in so many ways is a lower tiered league, right? And if it wasn't for Berlin, they wouldn't be relevant. Like there's a big drop off right now, and like the fact that Friedrichshafen isn't there either, but there's a decently significant drop off from Berlin and everyone else in the Bundesliga, right? When you look at the budgets that the Bundesliga,
Berlin did just lose to some team called Dachau 3-2 over the weekend, which is pretty.
But that's exactly. But when you look at terms in terms of like the organization that they are, the budget that they have to spend on teams and stuff like that, like I know from Canadian guys, like there's plenty of Canadian guys who, even though they know that the Czech league is lesser, they make more money in the Czech league, right?
Right.
Like
yeah, that's
overall, like of all the top leagues, like I would the Bundesliga in terms of how important it is in the grand scheme of things, like behind like France and Turkey. So the fact that they're able to come in every year and that they are a perennial team is quite impressive.
I agree. Yeah, I think there's a lot for Berlin to feel good about. It's just like, do they have a legit chance to beat Trentino in a home and away series? No, I don't think so. But when they do play their best, when they play the way that they played against Tours for 2 sets, when Schotel is hitting like above 70% efficiency, when they're putting on service pressure, like that team is good, and it is not they're not a pushover team, but they just don't have the talent. They just don't have the talent to compete with Trentino. That's what I'm saying. But both of those things can be true.
If they were in the Superliga, they'd be battling for 8th probably.
That's about where I would put them. Yeah.
Right, like they'd be battling for 8th. All right, Rob. Let's move on to the last match, and this one was historic and ultimately like I think we can talk about this match a little bit, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, the 3-time defending Champions League champions are done. They're out. Zaksa is over. I'm not going to say the dynasty is done because we'll have
I
to
will.
see, but okay, we're going to jump right into it like that. They had a chance to go for 4, and what has been like a season that has gone from bad to worse continuously continues to plague them. Zaksa is done. Very interesting to note, I went over to their Instagram page after the match and was just kind of looking at some of the comments and stuff. And the fans seem to be very understanding given the health situation surrounding the team. Right. And giving to see the sicknesses and the injuries and stuff like that. I didn't really read that many comments. The translate function works like half of the time, and they're all in Polish, and I can't really read Polish, right? So, oh yeah, once again, Ronnie, they had 3 lucky years. Everything is
Lucky
lucky for you.
years.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything is lucky for
Everett,
Ronnie if
stop
you're playing
feeding the
for Cuba.
trolls. Don't feed the trolls in our live chat. Dismiss him. Thanks for participating. Get him back to where he belongs. No, he is right about his one comment though, that the Zaksa dynasty is over. It's over. It was an amazing run. It was truly a historic 3 years of volleyball that redefined so much about what we know about the club game, that will have ripple effects on how teams are built and how success is defined year over year. It brought Champions League titles back to Poland for the first time in decades. But it's over. It's over. And we were saying that you can't ever count Zaksa out until they are officially eliminated, and they are. And I don't think that they had what it took to recover from that first set loss. A deep overtime, Halkbank wins at 32-30, and it wasn't without controversy, as this entire series has not been without controversy. It sucks that we continue having to talk about officiating. I don't like talking about officiating in volleyball. Volleyball is designed by the nature of its sport to be immune for the most part to bad officiating, but still the incompetence of CEV officiating has been a storyline over the past couple rounds of games. And there was a play in overtime in the first set where Zaksa had the advantage. They were serving with a set point. Halkbank was receiving in rotation 1 with Namir on the left. They got a very bad pass. It was good service pressure. They chucked a high ball out to Namir against 3 blockers. He challenged the middle of the block and got stuffed by David Smith. No cover. So everyone thought the set was over, and everyone thought that Zaksa won. Zaksa thought they won. Halkbank thought they won. Coach Slobodan Kovac threw out a desperation challenge because why not? Like, might as well challenge a net violation on the block. So took a few minutes, as all of our challenges do, and then all of a sudden they say Halkbank point, net violation. But David Smith, as someone in the chat is saying, like, was looking around incredulous because all the replays that they showed in the arena and all the replays that we saw on the broadcast did not show a net violation. We did not see one. I think the only thing that there could have been was maybe like a grazing of the bottom of the net on like distantly after the block. But then the question would have been, was the ball down first? And we didn't see any of that. Nobody on the broadcast, nobody in the arena saw any of that. And there's so much, like, figure it out. Show us, give us something conclusive. Give the players, give everybody in the arena a review in a situation like that. In all situations, must be completely conclusive to overturn the call on the court. And I didn't think it was. So then the overtime continued. Everyone got all confused. Halkbank ended up winning the set. And then Zaksa kind of disappeared, led by Bartosz Bednors, who had the worst match of his career. Completely disappeared in a big moment. And somebody in the Discord even made like a super cut of all the highlights of the ridiculous, sloppy garbage that happened on the Zaksa side. Bednors attacked a ball underneath the net at one point. Like it was bad.
I did see that. Yeah,
it was bad, and it was, I think, just a culmination of so many things. But I think that blown call, in my opinion, or that at least like controversial overturn and late in the first set, had a lot to do with it. But at the end of the day, it was just too much for Zaksa.
Yeah, it just seemed like there was so much to handle for them, and it really takes us back to last week. And I mean, some people have already mentioned in the chat and that red card with Kaczmarek, right? Because if they're able to take that fourth set, right, this game isn't over until it's over,
Until
right?
gold
Like
set. Yeah.
until a golden set. And yeah, it's a really tough situation for Zaksa to be, but you can just tell that they had nothing left in the tank.
Right.
And when you look at it too, when you look at this team, I think we have to point out about how long this team has been expected to play at the highest of levels, right? Like this is a team that once again made a run all the way to the Bundesliga finals last year. They made a run all the way to the Champions League finals last year. Their majority of this team is made up of Poles and Americans. They went all the way to the VNL finals this summer, and then all the way to their continental championships. I mean, let's be honest, Norsica is nothing like Euro volley, but still. And then they went and played the Olympic qualifiers. These athletes have not had that time off.
No,
and I think that's something that we have to remember in all this, is that we are losing our best athletes, and our best athletes aren't able to put their best foot forward because we are overworking them.
100%.
And that is something that the boomers in trench coats have no idea is even happening. Especially when you consider like the realities of volleyball, right? This isn't the NBA or the NFL where they've got millions and millions of dollars of sports science facilities to keep you in shape and healthy. Like you're essentially on your own in a lot of ways. So like this, you would have to wonder if there was a different schedule and a bit of an off season for these athletes. Like when's the last time any of these athletes had time off not due to injury?
Really never. Really never.
Really never. So
that's the bigger conversation that we have pretty regularly because it's important to remember and keep in context. And we will always on this show support the players in the fact that the schedule that we as the volleyball world put them through is not good for them and is not look good in the long term for volleyball. But like we've talked a lot about the Zaksa story all year, they've gone through so much. And I think that it came to a head and it fell apart. And we'll talk about what happened in the Plusliga over the weekend too to them, because that couldn't have been more clear that everything is falling apart. But Halkbank deserves credit here. I don't think they necessarily
100%.
deserved that first set win, but they were significantly the better team the rest of the way. And finally, we got like a good, legitimate killer performance from Namir Abdelaziz in a big moment. 25 for 43. Right. 25 for 43, only 3 errors and 3 aces for 28 points in 3 sets is absolutely insane. 28 points in 3 sets is crazy.
This is like Namir playing for Trentino, right? This is like back when he was putting up like best in the world type numbers. Like that was this type of game from Namir. He was absolutely automatic. He could smell it, right? And this is where I still think that he's still elite. And I know he hasn't necessarily been like over the past year, I would almost say he hasn't necessarily been Champions League last year was pretty good, but his international season was not one to remember by his standards in any means. And this year has kind of been up or down outside of the Everett League. But this was a textbook kind of shark in the water that smells blood type of situation. And he knew they were down and out, and he just unloaded. And, give it to Ma'a. He just fed the beast some more. Also big shout out to our boy Gord Perrin, who came off the bench in the first and was pretty good. Passed some dimes and hit some balls.
Yep. 8 points for Gord, 6 for 10, a block and an ace. Doing his job phenomenally well, especially because Irvin Ingapeth was bad this game, negative efficiency. But they got on Namir's back, and he carried them into the Champions League quarterfinals. And I'm curious to see where Halkbank goes from here, because we talked about it a lot. This is a team built from the get-go of the season for international success. Their sights were set on things much higher than just the FLR League, where they are probably the best team in the league still. But they weren't good at the Club World Championship. They've had their hiccups in Champions League so far, but still they got through the 3-time defending champions, and we'll see how far they can go.
Yeah. Halkbank versus Lube in that next round. That's a fantastic matchup. I'm real stoked for that, and I really am. So, well, it's the end of an era, the end of the Zaksa domination era. I can't have just wait to have some off the record chats with Shoji in a few months to kind of get some lowdown on that.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been. I mean, there's a reason why we've talked about them so much this year, just because there's been story after story, dramatic turn after dramatic turn, and I think now it's pretty much official that at the very least the Champions League era obviously has come to an end. But
you
I
know
think
what?
that this particular era of the team is coming to an end as well.
Yeah, don't be sad it's over.
Right.
Be happy that it happened.
100%. It was one of the great runs in volleyball history.
It absolutely was. So you got to love that.
All right. I want to move on to the women's side in Champions League.
100%, but we've been pretty lucky when you consider that COVID on one side you had one historic run with Zenit Kazan, on the other side you had the other historic run with Zaksa. Like, we've been pretty lucky over the past decade in terms of volleyball fans.
We have, yeah, well, a lot of awesome stuff in the last 10 years of Champions League.
Yeah. Let's move over to the women's side, Rob. And this is where this competition gets interesting. I don't think we really need to discuss the last round all that much, because this is where things start get interesting. Some of these matchups are going to be spicy. First and foremost, the bottom of your page there. We've seen this time and time again. We've seen it in the finals. We've seen it in the Club World Championships. This is like El Clasico to me. This is up there. Like, this is one of those two heavyweights, like two of the best organizations in volleyball, bar none. Doesn't matter the gender. Conigliano taking on Vakif Bank. Can't wait for it. You've also got the great rematch from pool plays of Exaja taking on Scandici. Scandici playing internationally without the foreigner rules is a real fun team, real interesting team to watch. And then a couple good ones. I think everyone expects Milano and Fenerbahce to beat both Stuttgart and Voj, but we'll see what happens.
You never know. Malonza is kind of a wild card. They sometimes lay eggs. I personally don't think that Stuttgart is capable of beating Fenerbahce, but no. Of course we'll see. Both Fenerbahce and Ziraat Bank on the men's and the women's sides respectively earned those number one overall seeds and are really benefiting from those number one overall seeds. They've both gotten significantly favorable matchups, which they deserve, because you should get better matchups when you're the number one seed in the tournament. So Conegliano versus Vakif Bank is going to be just spectacular. And we've already seen Scandici versus Zajabasha twice. Remember, Scandici beat him in pools both times, I think both 3-1.
Yep.
Those are both going to be some of the best series in women's volleyball all year, and I'm really excited about them.
Yeah, this is where the Women's Champions League really starts to turn on, and you always have that feeling that on the women's side, there's maybe less chances for upsets, but this is kind of when the tournament is just wide open.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
And of course it is. I mean, it's 3 Italian teams and 3 Turkish teams. Those have literally all year been the best 6 teams in women's volleyball anywhere. And it is not surprising at all that they populate the quarterfinals and they're going to be the contenders. And I think Stuttgart and Łódź both have done a good job representing Germany and Poland respectively. But on just talent, they just don't have, in my opinion, they don't have what it takes to beat those two opponents, Fenerbahce and Malone, in a 2-match series, unless a choking of epic fashion happens.
Even then, like and especially in the Champions League, like with that golden set, you would need to have to do it twice. Like, it would need to be an epic choke job in 2 games in a row, and that's just so hard to do. And on this scale, like, I really don't see it. This isn't soccer where you can just defend, like, you can win 1-0 at home and then just defend the next game. Like, you got to go out there and play. So it would be a big stretch for me to see either Stuttgart or Łódź.
Yeah, me too. I don't see it. Even like a couple years ago, that playoff series when Vakif Bank lost to Zhezhov in the first round. I think it was in 5. That was exactly the thing, is that you had to then beat them. If you're Zhezhov, you had to then beat them again in another league, which they absolutely could not do. And
or like when Busto beat Vakif Bank years.
Same
or
thing.
Was it Basha? No, Vakif Bank.
It was Vakif Bank in the semis that one year, but you got to do it again, and they couldn't. It's hard for the less talented team in this format. The last thing I kind of want to talk about, because these matches aren't this week, we can preview them in more detail on next week's show, is the fact that Melissa Vargas is back with Fenerbahce. Did you see that?
Oh no, I did not see that.
Melissa Vargas, as she has done the last several years, went to China to play for Tianjin, and then will play, whatever the duration of the Chinese league happens to be, because they seem to change the decision on that league's calendar every 5 minutes. But she's been injured the whole year. We've known about her right shoulder injury. What we kind of expected is that she wouldn't play at all this club season, and she would come back to Turkey at some point to rehab and get ready for an Olympic run, because that obviously is the most important thing. She is back in Turkey. She is back with Fenerbahce. The question is, is she back with Fenerbahce with an intent to play?
If I'm the Turkish Federation, I'm calling up Fenerbahce and I'm like, we'll pay you 100%, to not play her.
100%.
We'll play you. And let's be honest, Fenerbahce, you have Magdalena Stysiak there. Of course, you'd love to see Vargas there, just in terms of her image within Turkey, because she's becoming an international star, and I think that's like she's dropping ads within Turkey, which is awesome, right? But her performance at the Olympics is way more important than her performance in the Champions League. Maybe if you get to the finals, you bring her back.
And the thing is that Fenerbahce could win the Champions League anyway without her.
100%. But the reality is, if I'm Melissa Vargas, Fenerbahce is a top sport club in the world, right? They compete in the Champions League in soccer. They compete in Eurobasket in whatever it is called in basketball. This is a massive sport club that has money behind it. So they 100% have this is one of the few situations where you actually have that sports science in that facility and all of those things behind you to properly rehab. So 100% absolutely go back to Fenerbahce, get all those doctors on you, and go ham at the Olympics this summer.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think this is a good move to get her back in Turkish borders, get her in a good club with good resources to help her recovery. Do not play her in this Champions League. There is no point. And I hope that the Turkish Federation, like you said, has the level of oversight necessary to make sure that happens. Because, the wing trio of Stysiak, Fedorovtseva, and Anna Kristina, that can easily win a Champions League. And they're in the best position in the bracket to get to the finals anyway, because I think they're gonna beat Stuttgart on talent alone. 100%. And I think they match up with Malonza pretty well too, assuming they get past Woods,
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm Fenerbahce, I'm scared about Canigliano on the other side of the bracket, right? I'm scared of of Vakif Bank, of maybe actually I'm not scared of Basha, right?
I'm actually a little more scared of Basha than I am of Vakif Bank. I think
really?
they're playing. I think they're playing a little better recently. But I think the only Canigliano is the scary one, but Fenerbahce has good vibes in that matchup too, because they absolutely kicked the crap out of them in the quarterfinals last year. Remember that series with all the crazy serving?
Yeah, but that was a Melissa Varga masterclass, right?
And Fedorovtseva both, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Fedorovtseva was nasty in that one too, wasn't she?
She sure was.
Okay, yeah, it could be said, but I do think that Fenerbahce has a real good path to the finals. Of course, Malonza and the others in the other side of the semifinals, that's going to be a tough one. Whenever you've got Paolo Gonu and company on the other side, that's going to be a tough one. But to me, they haven't shown enough consistency for me to really look forward to it. But we can preview all of this next week.
Yep.
Or the
it's going to be it's going to be a very fun Champions League bracket. This, like you said, this is where the women's tournament really starts. Yeah. This is where we start to legitimately see the best teams in the world actually play against each other. And I'm looking forward to that. But we alluded to at the top of the show, if you saw the thumbnail, Graham Vigrass wasn't the only guy to win a golden set this week. Aseko Resovia goes to Zavierce in the CEV Cup, gets 3 donged, doesn't even get to 20 in any of the sets, and they turn it around and win the golden set 15-11.
Dude, they played them so hard.
100%.
They played them so hard. Like they changed up from the first set to this, like from the game to the golden set, and they baited them so hard. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. And I have no dogs in this fight. But I absolutely loved it from Resovia. And whew, they looked like they were about to get bounced. It looked like it was about to be like quick tings for them. And it was
it was really fun to watch too, because Zavierce predictably at home played awesome. Karl Buchan was great. Trevor Kleveno was very good. Bartosz Kvolek was phenomenal in the early parts of the match. They served 14 aces to 12 errors. So if you take out the golden set, it would be 11-9. 11 aces, 9 errors in like the main part of the match is ridiculous. But there was a moment. And I brought it up in the Discord. There was a moment in that third set when Zavierce was up 2-0, and they were up big in the third set. They were going to win the match, but the situation was Tavares set a bic that was intended for Kvolek. There was something about the connection that wasn't there, like maybe a traffic jam in the back row or something, and Kvolek just had to stay on the ground and set it over. He set it over short. Boyer just was standing there waiting, jumped up and pounded it on the first contact, and then started talking trash to him
and laughing
and at him.
That was Rob. That was when I was just kind of like, "What's going on here? What's going on here?" Like, and I was looking at the entire Resovia squad on the court, and I was like, "This is not the answer I'd be expecting from a team who's getting 3 donged right now, who's getting hour and showered right now." You could tell there was something going on there.
It was a masterful mind game play, in my opinion, from Stefan Boyer. It was exactly what that team needed. It got Kvolek in his own head, and everyone knew it was headed to a golden set. Like the situation was fully understood. But that, like, if you were running out of time in the main part of the match to make a comeback on the scoreboard, you had to do something else. Boyer did. I thought it was an amazing move. One of the better off-court plays I've ever seen in a volleyball match.
Yeah, it was
completely changed everything. It really did. Because then in the golden set, like Zavierce froze. Yeah. They hit 3 for 14 with 5 errors as a team in the golden set. They were absolutely just invisible. Passed the ball like garbage. Got stuff blocked 3 times. Like that something about that changed everything. It was amazing to watch.
I don't know as much as it changed everything as much as like I think Resovia baited them. I really do. I almost wondered if they like that was part of their game plan, where they're just like, we're gonna play this way for 3 sets, lull them into a false sense of security, and then completely switch it up. And I mean, I've played on teams and I've coached on teams where we're like, we are going to make their best player feel really good by giving them their best shot. And in set 2, we're going to take it away, right? We're going to absolutely take it away. And that's what it seemed like. And when you like, everyone's kind of been it when you're rolling a team or you've rolled the team a lot and they change things up and you're like, shit, like what I normally do doesn't work. The shots that I normally do don't work. And that's what it seemed like. It was just a quick, and like, all you need to make is 1 or 2 adjustments in a golden set scenario, and the other team can't really adjust to that. You jump out to a quick lead, which they didn't. They're actually down at 5, but the other team has such a hard time responding. So good on Resovia. I kind of wanted to see Zavierce win. I was happy to see them win during the game. But then when the way I saw Resovia respond in the golden set, I was like, oh, yeah, this is great. Good on you.
It was great. It was great. Yeah, I mean, other than TJ DeFalco, I don't have any Americans on either side, and I've been a very vocal Xavierche fan throughout this year because I was so high on them in the preseason. But the way that the way that Resovia handled them mentally down the stretch was just remarkably fun to watch. I thought it was really cool, and that's the magic of a golden set to me. Ronnie in the chat, I couldn't disagree with you more. The golden set is awesome for this reason.
Yeah. So
it is awesome for this reason. You have to earn it in the biggest, most important moment with the thinnest margins, with all the pressure in the world. The team that thrives in that situation deserves to move on.
Ronnie just doesn't like it because he knows him and his team perform poorly in stressful situations. Once you get down to a fifth set, you know that the Mickey Mouse-ness is just going to come out, and they're just going to poop themselves.
When's the last time Cuba won a fifth set?
Seriously, against Canada, I can't remember it.
That Brazil match in VNL, I guess they did. Yeah,
they did
lost
win that.
They lost the fifth to both Canada and the U.S. at Norseca.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Choke artists. Anyway, Stéphane Boyer, in addition to that one mind game play at the end of the third, was very good. He was 15 for 22, which is ridiculous. And he was the only statistically good player on Resovia throughout the duration of the match because Chebul, Luati, and DeFalco weren't overwhelmingly good. No. I mean, that's what happens when you go 19, 19, 19, three-donged. But Resovia flipped the switch mentally. They turned it on when it mattered, and they're going to the semifinals of the CEV Cup. Who do they have? I think they have Fenerbahce, men's Fenerbahce, I think.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Let me see here. I have it. Oh, of course, now it's taken forever.
Yeah, so Resovia has men's Fenerbahce, and then the other CEV Cup semifinal is one that I'm very excited about. You should be excited about, especially if you're Canadian. 100%. Lundberg versus Arca Sport Izmir.
Verkus. Yeah, this one's going to be a fun one. Izmir took down Olympiacos, a team that you were unnecessarily high on at the end of the year. Not entirely sure. And now they're not even losing in the CEV Cup. So good on you, Olympiacos. Figure it out. Who's their setter again? Oh, Tragica. Oh, yeah, that's why I don't like them. Lundberg took down Ion's Milan. That
was a good series.
Yeah, it was a good series. That one went to fifth set in the second game. And Fenerbahce took down Grignard Masaic in a couple of three-dongers.
Yeah, thanks for participating. There should have never, ever been all those Belgian teams in Champions League. Get them out of here. That never made sense. These semifinals are going to be very good.
Yeah, I actually
Resovia, the Fenerbahce men's team is pretty good. Resovia, we've talked about them a lot, and then Lundberg and Izmir, like both very fun Canadian flared teams. We get Georg Grozer, which is amazing. We get a bunch of Americans and Canadians on Lundberg. We get matches in two fun home arenas, and I think it's finally at the semifinal stage of this tournament when the CEV actually produces broadcasts. So we'll be able to watch them, I hope.
Yeah, I think we're looking towards, as much as I love Lundberg, I think we're going to be looking towards an Arcus versus Zhezhov final.
I could see it.
That's what I think I'm looking for, and I kind of love to see it. I want to see Grozer go off, right? I could see that happening, so it could be fun.
Yeah, we'll never bet against Georg Grozer to pop off in a big moment,
and I will never turn down an opportunity to watch him play.
Oh, 100%.
He's such a man.
He's a guy that you really got to appreciate what you're watching while you're watching it before it's gone.
Yeah. Is Germany coming back to Ottawa this year for VNL? I can't remember.
I don't remember either. But there's no way they send him. It would be insane if they sent him to VNL. Save him for the Olympics.
Yeah, you're right.
So we also have the Challenge Cup final set. It is, in fact, Monza versus Warszawa on the men's side, like we thought, which is going to be really fun. And those games, I'm pretty sure, will be broadcast. So I'm hopeful for that. And then women's CEV Cup also had some drama. Chieri beat Le Canet 21-19 in the fifth to advance. If Le Canet had won that fifth set, it would have gone to a golden set.
That
had potential for the rare six setter. So the semifinals for CEV Cup, it's Budovwani Łódź against some team called NUC Volleyball from Switzerland. Who also won a golden set in the last leg. And then Chieri versus Paris. I don't know anything about, or Paris if you're French. I don't know anything about their women's team.
Paris Saint-Cloud, or?
I think so.
The CEV side is just not working for me right now.
Paris Saint-Cloud.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody says no Germany and Ottawa. That's a bummer. But yeah, the women's CEV Cup semis also next week. I think just about all of these CEV tournament series are like Tuesday the 21st, Wednesday the 27th. No, wait a minute. Tuesday the 21st is the first leg. Wednesday the 27th, yeah, second leg. So next week will be a whole lot of CEV action. And then I didn't notice anything in Women's Challenge Cup, so I don't think we need to bother with that one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it's Novara. Novara's in it, so they're probably going to win that tournament.
Man,
Whatever.
Finally, it's working. Okay. As we finish talking it, my women's CEV page finally starts not giving me the ring.
Their
of death.
website was struggling for me earlier today to figure it out CEV in many areas. So that's a CEV recap. That's everything that's going on. We have a week off from all those tournaments. Then we jump back into it. Before we jump into some domestic spiciness, Everett, let the people know about thatvolleyball.store.
I mean, this is the real spiciness right here. Of course, use the code SPICY over at thatvolleyballstore.com and get 15% off your entire order. Definitely want to be seeing you guys at the VNLs this year wearing some swagginess. Rob and I are matching. Actually, we're double matching. I've got the t-shirt on right now as well too. So if you are a part of my weekend clinics with Javelin and you're not picking up swag, then I'm disappointed in you.
100%.
That's all I have to say about that.
You get bonus brownie points from Coach Everett if you're wearing our gear.
Yeah,
and
so that's also another thing. If you want to get coached by me as an adult, head over, download the Javelin app. We'll be doing some stuff over there with them. Love it.
I want to get coached by Coach Everett, even though he can't beat me in short court.
Bro, I could beat you in short court. Let's go. Let's go. We've played once.
And that game was already too close. All right, let's move on. One of the other things that you can pick up at thatvolleyballstore.com is the Where's Daddy collection. Because we got to talk about Daddy Stankovic. Oh, we always got to talk about him. Just look at him.
What's happened when he retires? Like,
I don't know if I'll be able to do a show for weeks after Daddy retires. I'll be in mourning. So, but we got to talk about Daddy Stankovic like we always do, because we hide him somewhere in the show. That's the Where's Daddy segment. You find Daddy Stankovic in one of our assets in the middle of the show, and you comment in the YouTube comment section a timestamp of where he is, and then you get a shout out the following week. So last week, this one was not very conspicuously hidden. Or it was pretty conspicuous, I guess is the right way to say that. I think that's Brooke Nunaviller of the PVF, of the Omaha Supernovas. She got a makeover and now looks even better. She looks like Daddy Stankovic. So that was a pretty easy one. Kenny McGraw found him immediately. Young Gemini was right behind, finding Daddy Stankovic. Ozzy says Daddy got a new haircut. He does look pretty good with the long blonde hair, gotta say.
With the ponytail. Got a bit of a weave going on there. Yeah, I like it.
Why not?
That's good.
Every week that I go to Photoshop Daddy into something, I'm like, yeah, he looks good here. He looks good everywhere. I mean, come on. So keep your eye out for Daddy Stankovic this week, and when you find him, comment the timestamp of where he is in the main YouTube comment section after the stream is over, not the live chat. No cheating.
I mean, you can cheat, but like you're not going to get anything from it.
You're not going to.
It's not even cheating. It's just selling yourself short.
Right. All right. Shall we move on? Which domestic league you want to talk about?
I want to jump into. Let's go to Italy first. This was a weekend, especially on the men's side, of upsets.
It was.
Like if we're looking at the 3-3-2s there in Italy, those are really the only ones that I want to talk about. Although there was a moment on Sunday when like Lube was like down to Toronto and like everything was nuts. I think first and foremost we should talk about Monza ending their losing streak in Italy against Piacenza, a beautiful 3-2 win by Monza. Eric Lepke with the MVP on that one. Really just a good around. Oh yeah, like Rob just saw his stats on. Yeah, he was really, really good. in this one, 16 for 24 with 3 blocks and 3 aces. He was the MVP. And I mean, he really took over, especially in that 5th set. Like they started, was it 4-0, 5-0 in 5-0 in the 5th set, did Monza. He was serving that entire time. He served 2 aces and had a beautiful dish to Stephen Marr on a back row 2 ball, like all the way across the entire court. Like he was in like the 1-6 seam and was able to huck it all the way to the left side. Marr smashed it down the line, and it was all EFL to start that 5th set. That's what gave them that 5-point lead, and that's what they were able to push through. I mean, Piacenza is just such an anomaly to watch. Like,
yeah, they are.
Like Romano actually had a good game in this one. First and foremost, that was big. Leal was all right. Was decent. And Lucarelli's serve receive, like he was a bit of a hole. He got aced 4 times, only 10% positive while taking a good bulk of the load.
Yeah, that's really interesting. But this is the duality of Piacenza. Piacenza is like rolling a 20-sided dice, and you have absolutely no idea what you're going to get on a given day. The fact that Yuri Romano was good on offense was nice to see, but like another weird thing, their second middle blocker position is a problem. Like Eduardo Konecki was invisible, and you had to pull Fabio Ricci's like skeletal self out of semi-retirement. Like we haven't heard from him, and
there was no respect for Konecki whatsoever in the middle, like none whatsoever. And they were just able to double up on the outside so much because there was very little presence in the middle. And I mean, you're going to give Simone his roses in the middle whenever he's there. That's the case of it. And there was a few times where he kind of turned it on, especially from the baseline, a little bit of blocking. He had 12 points on the afternoon, was still a -2 overall though. So overall, this was a very good Monza game. A very bad Arthur Schwartz game. He was not efficient in the slightest. 12 for 33 with 3 errors while getting blocked 4 times. So we did see this Slovenian come in from time to time, Nick Mujanovic.
Yep. Yeah, I remember there being some drama with picking him up on the transfer earlier this season. But yeah, good for Monza that they have really been in a gauntlet schedule-wise in the Superliga the last, really kind of since the new year. They've played exclusively good teams, and they needed this win, so good for them.
Yeah, that was a big one. I mean, they started the season so good. They were in the top 4 for a while starting the season, but like if you look down, they got 3-dogged by Trentino last week. They lost to Perugia in the finals of the Supercopa. They've lost to Verona. Other than Toronto, like they lost to Modena, and Modena has been garbage this year. Like lost to Cisterna. Like it's been a bad run recently for Monza. So you gotta love to see them get a nice dub. Moving on, next one I want to talk about, Rob, is Verona taking on Perugia.
Yes.
Now, this is one that I was only somewhat watching just before training and as training started on Sunday, but I did rewatch it today on Volleymetrics, and I have to say, Verona earned this win, right? And especially when you look at the stats, like they were fantastic in this game, only unfair throughout the entire time, and they outpassed Perugia. They were serving real well. This was a really good, like when Verona was like this, they're relentlessly aggressive offensively, and they have so many options. I don't understand really why they brought in Keita for Amin. I thought Amin was having a real good game. Like he was 11 for 23. He wasn't really doing anything in terms of blocking or serving, but he was doing a good job and scoring some points. There was one ball that he played, and like he dug a ball on the left side, like coming in off the net. The middle just kind of, it was Grozanov, shoved it back, and he was able to get a kill, like backdoor in transition on the left side as a lefty, which was so tough. So I'm not entirely sure why they're taking him off, but it does give them a good look. And I really think that a lot of, like to me, I don't know who got the MVP of this game. It's the Rock Mods.
It had to be.
He was nasty. He was absolutely nasty. 15 for 22. Some of his thumb down cross body, or not cross body, but thumb down cross court 4-4 is starting to get into the Kliuka range. Like he has the shot locked in. But like Lucas Spirito sets such a good offense for this team. It's so fast at the pins, so fast at the pin, but they're also really effective down the middle. Aiden Zingle was 6 for 7 in this one, and he's low key and Grozanov was 8 for 10. They're really strong down the middle. They're really offensive, and they play it lightning fast out to the pins, lightning fast. Also, a big thing in this one, this was a bad Leon game. And I know stats-wise, he did lead them in scoring. He wasn't terribly efficient, but he got aced a lot and in big moments. That was a big thing. And when he made his errors were in big moments, like blowing one out of bounds in that 5th set. He's not moving well yet. Like, you can tell he's not 100% yet, but this was a bad Leon game. I would have liked to see Plotnitsky come in off the bench for him.
I was surprised to even see Leon playing in this game. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is his first actual start at outside hitter since his injury. And clearly wasn't quite himself. Like, it wasn't just the attacking stuff. I mean, it had 4 blocks, 2 aces, 13 for 28 with 4 errors attacking. But the reception, he was relentlessly targeted. 44 reception attempts out of the 83 for the team. Yeah, that's way over half. Rare, good serving strategy game from Verona. I wasn't as tuned in to be able to tell like when his errors came, but I believe you that they were in bad moments.
Yeah, it was like he got aced in the 1st and the 3rd, and in the then the 5th. All the sets that he was getting aced that they were losing, and there's just too many like 50-50 balls that fall for Piacenza. And when they win Perugia, when they win sets, they make big plays, right? And that's kind of how they are. And their offense transition, like early on, it was very much through Bentara. And they fed Bentara a lot. And then as it was progressing, they started going to Semeniuk a little bit more. A lot to Leon as well too, but still it wasn't that great of a game. Also questionable setting a few times from Gianelli. Like, why are you setting your middles in a situation where literally everyone's crammed in 1/3 of the court and you're setting it straight up for your middles, and they've got two bodies right in front of them. So some very interesting from Perugia. It's like they won the Coppa Italia and they're just like, let's just jump on the lazy river and coast for a little bit.
Yeah, 2 losses since then, right? Piacenza last week, Verona this week.
Yep.
So they need to figure it out. But yeah, it's good to see Verona have a good Verona game. They are rare, so you got to appreciate them when they happen. But yeah, Rok Mozic reminded us this game of why he is one of the great young prospects in all of volleyball. Like 20 points on 15 for 22. Well, I mean, you already said it.
I don't think we can call him a young prospect anymore, though. I think he is now.
He's the captain of the team, for God's sakes, at only age 21, but he's only age 21. That's the crazy part. He's a young kid.
That's fucked up. That makes me feel really bad about myself. Yeah, that's a real blow to the ego. Because how long have we been talking about him?
Sorry, I think he just turned 22.
Man.
My apologies.
That's disappointing.
Just turned 22 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because he was like, there was no doubt. Like, I was getting excited watching that game when it was going to him, you know? And in the same vein, I was noticing that I am no longer like, there used to be a sense when I would watch Leon, like even in his Perugia days, where I was like, oh, it's going to Leon, automatic. I don't get that sense anymore at all.
No.
Like, he's still able to score, right? Like, he's still a wily old veteran. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying he's not skilled, but so far he's not Leon. Like, in his first game back, let's give him a little something, but he's not Leon yet.
Yeah. Last but not least, the Battle of the Poros. I loved this game.
Yes, this one was, I skimmed this one through as well on volley metrics. And first and foremost, I think we need to say sorry to Davide Gardini. Like, really, we have dogged this man so much, but goodness gracious, 17 for 30 in this one. Didn't get blocked once. Did have 3 errors, but still 4 aces on 18 attempts for Gardini. He has been really, really good. And especially when he has Luca Porro beside him. Luca Porro, still pretty good offensively. He was 13 for 26 with the arrow and got blocked 4 times. But still, Padova with a massive win over Milano. And now, Rob, I may be jumping ahead because, you know, some of the fantastic people in our Discord, did a bit of a relegation race breakdown, and I think Padova is the one team right now in the Superliga that is simultaneously a part of the relegation race and the playoff race.
Yeah, it's not impossible. They are 6 points out of a playoff spot. That is difficult, but not impossible. And when you beat a team like Milano, that absolutely helps. Padova is good. Padova is a franchise that deserves a lot of credit for just being a really well-organized, well-run program top to bottom. They have a very good youth development system. They do a really good job of home-growing Superliga level talent from the youth levels all the way on up. The problem is that at the top levels, they don't have the budget to keep those guys. Like Mattia Botolo is a good example. He's like Padova born and raised. Came up in the club, had an amazing season when him and Lepke were playing next to each other, and then got poached by Lubic Ivanova because they could pay him more. Like that happens to Padova a lot. But as a franchise, they are a good organization and typically will play like greater than the sum of their parts. And they've really got a good thing going here with young Luca Porro playing like a young superstar. Although it's his first Superliga season, so we'll see if the sophomore slump hits him next year. A really pleasantly, surprisingly good season from Davide Gardini is a big storyline for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I may have to pull myself back, Rob. First and foremost, would you believe that we only have 4 matches left in the regular season?
Is that true?
My goodness. There is only 4 matches left. It's a 22-game season where
you're right.
We played 18 matches. There's only 4 matches left in the regular season. So the playoff race is here now. So Padova is 6 points out of that 8th spot. Behind Milano, they're 3 games back.
They have Catania,
Perugia, Monza, and Trentino.
Oh.
So maybe pull that one back a little bit. Maybe we'll just
that's one win,
but reverse there.
1 win, but probably not 2 wins.
Yeah, no.
But there's no way they're going to get relegated, and that's which is great. I think Catania right now is pretty clearly the team in relegation position. But I'm happy for Padova. This was a nice win. It was cool to see Gabi Garcia get the match-winning stuff block at 18-16 on Yuki Ishikawa, of all people. Milano's statistically not bad. I mean, Ishikawa was very good. Petar Dirlic got the start at opposite and played well. Kaziski got the game off. Okay, so yeah, it was Margarejo. He was mediocre.
I'm starting to question if Margarejo is a starter at this level, which makes me sad. He has always been one of my favorite of the Cuban guys. And I know he's had flashes, but there's just been too many seasons now where he's been unable to really secure himself a starter position here for Milano.
Well, I think Margarejo is the absolute perfect third guy. He's an amazing third guy on any team. He can come off the bench anytime, play well. He does it for Cuba. He does it for Milano. Is he going to be a starter on a really, really, really good team? Maybe not, but I think he is a good all-around player and has a lot of value.
Yeah, okay. I think that's fair. I'll go with that.
Good game from Fabian Plak as well in the middle for Padova. 8 for 12, no errors, 3 blocks, 2 aces.
Love that. Yeah, I feel like we generally see a late season push here like this from Padova. So
that's an underrated franchise. Got to give him credit.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue watching Milano too with one half eye because this is exactly like last year. So who the hell knows? Honestly, Rob, like this is such a toss up between like 7th, even like 7th to 2nd is a toss up, but even 1st, like the fact that Monza's in 7th and they beat Trentino just a couple weeks ago in the cup. There's so many possibilities once we hit the playoffs here. Like we're really this like in the next few weeks, like. The last day of the regular season is March 3rd.
That's crazy.
In 3 weeks, we will be in the playoffs here for the Super
Wow, that's insane. I'm really just like the calendar in my head. I'm not prepared for the acceleration of the season that we have this year to kind of push the club season up a couple weeks because of the Olympics. I'm not ready for that, but I'm excited about it. Last game, because we look at the standings, the last game I want to talk about is you had the battle for 8th. You had Modena play Cisterna head-to-head. Modena beat them in a 3-dong. Now they're dead tied at 22 points. Vlad Daviskiba at opposite went 18 for 28. That was spectacular.
Oh,
And
I like
Osmani
that.
Monterrey really good as well, 11 for 16 with no errors. And a rare, pretty bad Teo 4 game. 6 for 20, 4 unforced errors is not very good.
Yeah. I can
So
already see the Discord complaining that they played Pavle Peric over F.A. Bayram.
Yeah, don't let any of our Turkish fans let you hear you say that.
What? I mean,
Because they're
I'm
gonna
not.
get triggered. They're the most easily triggered fan base in all of volleyball.
That is very true. It's
We
them
love
and the Cubans.
No, the Cubans aren't easily triggered. They're just led by a very vocal troll. I think Brazilians are pretty easily triggered too. But
True. Yeah.
our Turkish fans are incredibly easily triggered.
Yes. Very passionate.
Very
Easily
passionate.
triggered. Easily.
And
triggered.
I'm not including the weebs. They do not count as a fan base, but they're easily triggered as well.
But they don't know. They don't know any better.
They don't know anything, and they certainly don't watch the show, so it doesn't matter. Here's the standings, dude. I'm happy you put that on my radar. That there are only 4 games left in the season. I was looking at. I wasn't ready for that.
No, neither was I. When I saw that today, when I was doing some research, I was like, "Oh, Dad, that's real damn quick. That's real fast. How about it?" So yeah, and like we've got a big day of Super League coming up too on Wednesday. Looking at some of the matches, we're gonna have a Lube versus Trentino matchup,
That's fun,
versus Piacenza, and I think Monza versus Milano as well too. So you have 3 really fun matchups coming down on Wednesday for the 4th to last regular season match of the year. Was I right on all those matchups, Rob? Are you looking at that?
Yes,
are you looking that up right now?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. You nailed it. Yeah, Monza versus Milano is a big rivalry game in the actual Milano team and the team just outside Milano. I mean, we know that Vero Volley's club can't figure out their own identity, and they're trying to be Milano posers because they call themselves Milano on the women's side, but there already is a Milano on the men's side. So there's always something behind that match. Trentino versus Lube is good. Verona versus Piacenza is good. I'm just excited to have ball to watch on Wednesday without any CEV action, so that's a nice treat.
Yep, absolutely. All right, do you want to jump over to Poland now, or do we want to talk about the women?
Yeah, let's talk about the women. We've got a couple good matches over the weekend in the Lega Volley Femminile. We had we had Malonza. Malonza got beat by Novara in 5. That was something. Scandici barely survived Valafolia in 5. Conegliano beat Firenze, no problem. But then before we get into anything, we can jump into the other matches a little bit more. But I wanted to shout out Camila Weitzel. A 3-set win for Chieri over Bergamo. Camila Weitzel, a middle blocker, 15 points on 9 for 11 attacking, a block, and 5 aces with no service errors.
Somebody put recently that she's like a top 5 middle in the world, and I don't know if I disagree with that. Like from what I've seen recently from her, and like she only really started being on my radar this past summer, watching her play for Germany. Maybe last summer a little bit too. I can't fully remember.
I've seen her play club. I think this is her 3rd year in Chieri. I've seen her play all 3 years. She's like her role is growing, but she is very good. She's very good, and I like her game a lot. I like middles who can serve.
Yes, but she just seems like, and like when I watch her play, she looks so young. Like she looks like she has so much room to grow. But I mean, I've been talking about it for a while. I really like the composition of this Chieri team. When you look down to the stats in this one, just like so many different players in double digits, 4 different attackers for Chieri in double digits, 13 for Skinner, 13 for Corbelna, 14 for Morui, and of course, as you mentioned, 15 for Weitzel. 9 for 11. Yum.
An awesome stat line. 15 for a middle in 3 sets. 5 points per set for a middle is amazing.
5 aces and no errors.
Yep. It's awesome. So I just pulled up the stats for Scandici versus Valafolia. Like I'm trying to find like why did Scandici struggle with Valafolia so much? There's 2 answers. One is that Scandici positionally was absolutely a revolving door. I think they played at least 3 different middles. 3 middles, at least 3 outsides, maybe even 4. And just couldn't really figure out what they got going on. Again, that team is built to be handcuffed by the foreigner limit. They get that freedom in Champions League. But here's a name, Everett, that we should all at least not forget so quickly. Camila Mingardi. Remember her?
Ooh, yeah. I've always been a big fan of Mingardi. Where's Mingardi at?
She's at Valafolia now.
Yeah.
She's been kind of out of the spotlight for a couple years since that one Bustos season where she was insane. But she dropped 24 in this game. 22 for 62. 62 attempts.
That's a lot.
Only 6
That's
errors, It is a lot, but only 6 errors and 62 attempts is actually quite good. Wasn't enough. Alice de Gradi was really good too, other than getting aced 8 times. That's pretty bad.
I've always been a big fan of Mingardi. So
I
I'd
like
love
her
to see
too.
her teeing off like this. I was aware of this match just by being on the Discord. However, did not watch it. But
And the other one is Malone's losing to Novara in 5, and just some more kind of confusing lineup choices. We for Malone's anyway. We finally get to see Dana Retke back starting again. I have no idea what she was doing on the bench for so long. She came off the bench in the 3rd, played the 4th and the 5th, and only went 9 for 12 with 2 blocks. So I don't know what on earth Gaspari is doing. And they did lose this match. Like Novara won. Like Vita Akimova dropped 24.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at the dates, Agonu dropped 28, Miriam Silo dropped 20. Silo was actually really good this one. She was 17 for 35 with three blocks. Well, when you look at like you had a pretty even scoring. You had 4 players for Novara in double digits, led by Akimova with 24, Bonifacio had 13, and Buyas had 15, and Greta Zakmari.
Shakmari, yeah, she's the other outside. I guess she started over. Yeah, wow, interesting. I guess Katerina Bossetti didn't play this game. She's listed as having dressed at libero.
And Novara served way better. Then, well, I wouldn't say necessarily way better, but based off of Malonzo's passing stats. But they had 4 aces and only 10 errors compared to 3 aces and 16 errors.
Yeah, 10 errors in 5 sets is not bad. 16 errors is too many, especially with let's see. So Egonu had 3. She's the only really aggressive. So, no, Kazot is a good server too. But she only had 1. So Hiram and Foley, Oro, and Bayama and Kandi all had more than 1 service error apiece. That's not good enough. You got to serve the ball in bounds.
Yeah, no, just this one was not a terribly efficient game either. Like a lot of attempts in this one.
Yeah, 12 unforced errors from Alonso. They did have 12 blocks though. Yeah, good for Novara. This is a nice win for them. I do think they're going to win the Challenge Cup. I do think they're going to get the 4th seed in the league. Are they? Let's see.
Yeah. Also,
actually interesting that Novara is actually now in the 3 seed in the league. Here, let's look at the standings.
Yeah. One thing to point out, sorry, if you can go back to that last page, I think we need to give a big shout out to Trentino's women team for getting 3 big points for the first time in like over a year. So
and they beat Cuneo, who's the only. I mean, Trentino is in a very tough spot. Looking at the standings, they are now 6 points behind Cuneo.
Okay,
but that's the team that's like kind of the mark that they're trying to chase down. Oh, although I don't know, 2 teams get relegated. I didn't know that. That's tough.
Oh yeah, then now, yeah,
6 matches left in the Lega Volley Femminile, but with 2 teams getting relegated, yeah, Trentino is in big trouble. But yeah, it is nice to see a bad team get a win.
When you start looking though, like only 10 points from 6th to 10th, there could be a lot of movement over the next little bit. Like there's like a few different pockets. There's that top 4 pocket. Chieri and Pinerola are kind of hanging out in the middle in the 30s, and then you got the 20s gang. Do we think Busto still has a shot? Like they are a good 7 points away from Roma, but
I'm gonna say no, just because I don't like their team that much. Other than Martina Brocchi, who I like.
Yeah, love Brocchi.
I don't like their team as much. Valafolia has been playing a lot better. Even Calzomaggiore has been playing a lot better. They've won 4 out of the last 5 after being horrible to start the year. I don't really have any faith in Firenze, but I think Calzomaggiore is going to be a player. And then Pinerola, Valafolia, and Roma, none of them are like locked in to place in the playoff positions by any means. I think those top 5 definitely are. But spots 6, 7, and 8 are going to be fun because the last couple of years in the Lega Volley Femminile, it's been like a significant drop off after position 8.
Yes,
like the playoff teams have always been pretty clear, and there hasn't been that much drama around that. But this year there will be, and that's fun.
Yeah, I mean Pinerola's Pinerola's still got to play Scandici, Malonza, and Canigliano in the remaining games.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Vafolia has Navarra and Milano. but they still have like Trentino and stuff. So I don't know. It'll go up. We'll have to actually look, not just like look at my phone as the show is doing it.
So let's see what do they have coming up next? Do they play on Wednesday too? No, they don't.
No, they don't play till Sunday.
And there's
got one game on Saturday. Castellmajore against Navarra.
And no really good matchups on paper, unfortunately. Other than Castellmajore versus Roma is kind of the only one.
When's that?
That is the 25th.
That's not next week.
Next week? Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Castellmajore plays Navarra this week.
Weird. Why do they have so many games off? Is there something Coppa Italia this weekend that I'm missing? I don't think so. Oh yeah, it is. That is it.
Yeah.
That is why we're missing.
It is,
of course.
It is Coppa Italia this weekend.
Man, for some reason I thought it was later in February. Man, my brain is all scrambled with the calendar. I can't figure it out. Figure it out of the week award goes to me. Yeah. Coppa Italia semifinals Saturday. Chieri versus Conegliano, 9 a.m. Eastern. Scandici versus Malone's is Saturday noon Eastern, and then the final is Sunday 8:15 a.m. Eastern. So early games.
Why so early?
They like afternoon set Sunday primetime slot for in Italy.
True. I was going to complain because I have to coach this week, but I don't. So that's going to be fun. I'm actually excited for this. This is going to be a good little wake up on
that'll
Saturday
be fun.
morning. I'm going to make myself some coffee, a little bit of maybe some I'll get my girlfriend to make me pancakes. For the record, I do like 95% of the cooking at my house. Anyone who knows my girlfriend can ask her. I do the majority of the cooking. She just cooks really good eggs and really good pancakes. So
perfect. That sounds good.
Don't come out here with your feminism. I'm a feminist myself, and I cook a lot. Okay,
Everett, nobody was coming at you for that. It's okay. It's okay.
It was a joke, St. Clair. Figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. If the week award goes to me, I'll wear that one. All right, let's move on to the Plus Liga. This was, speaking of upset week, this was an insane week in the Plus Liga.
Yesterday was a day, but we'll have to start with this one.
Yeah, we have to start with this one. I don't understand what you could possibly be laughing at, other than the fact that Zaksa got 3-donged by Katowice, and they lost the first set 25-10. 25-10, Everett.
I've been seeing some things. It really looks like Tuomas Semorvuo is living his best life. He's just bopping around Europe, visiting different gyms, going to see different things. Like recently he was in Rosovia's gym talking to Mendes. You know?
How interesting.
At first I was really upset that he got fired from Zaksa. Now I'm kind of happy, and I'm sure he is too, because this is a dumpster fire now. It can now be classified as a complete dumpster fire. You're losing 25-10 to Katowice? No, that doesn't happen. No, that shouldn't happen if you're Zaksa. You still have Janusz, you still have Kaczmarek, you still have Bednorz, you still have world-class guys. This shouldn't be happening. It just hurts me to see this breakdown.
Yeah, this is bad.
This
is really bad. And Bednorz did not play this game. Neither did David Smith. So the lineup, again, a massive problem. But this is Zaksa has given up. I really think that after that Champions League loss to Halkbank, that was their last gasp of this dynasty, and it's over. You cannot lose 3-0, and with one of the sets being 25-10 to Katowice, who has now only 6 wins on the season. It just can't happen to a team like that. And Zaksa is in 10th. They are 3 points out of a playoff spot right now because there's so much chaos, but that loss is completely inexcusable. I don't care who your injuries are. I don't care who's sick. I don't care about firing your coach. I don't care about any of that. You cannot get 3-donged by Katowice and lose 25-10. You cannot do that.
You're starting right now a Daniel Kitigoy, an 18-year-old Daniel Kitigoy who hasn't really played all season. And I don't know how old you are, Krzysztof Zaplaki, who is an
He's the third
employee.
division guy. Yeah.
He's an employee, a 9 to 5 employee somewhere in Poland, Monday through Friday, plays third division, and then drives to go play for Zaksa. This is where
somebody puts out in the chat the outside hitters in the third set were Takvam, who's a middle, and Kaczmarek, who's an opposite. Like, what are we doing?
I will say one thing about this, Rob, and I know I have been a big ardent supporter of Lucas Kaczmarek over the years, and there has been times in the past before even all of this where I was saying I thought Kaczmarek was a better fit for the Polish national team on the right side than Bartosz Kurek. If you swap out Bartosz Kurek for Lucas Kaczmarek, Bartosz Kurek does not let this happen.
Not a chance in
hell. He drops 32. He drops 32, right? And that's what I'm most worried about is where, like, I know you guys like this team is mentally broken. Yep, mentally broken. And I think if you're a Polish fan, you need to be worried, right? You need to be worried about a guy like Kaczmarek and his mental state going into the national team season. You need to be worried about a Marcin Janusz going into the national season a little bit broken. But on the flip side of that, hey, maybe at a few months off of volleyball might be exactly what those guys need, right?
Yeah,
but
I've especially for my two Americans, Eric Shoji and David Smith, who I love, and I this is an opportunity of epic scale this summer for the United States men's national team. Playing this well with a slightly older team, guys who this might be their last run in Paris. If they kind of phoned it in the rest of club season, I would not blame them. And honestly, I would kind of prefer it. Eric Shoji is the one guy all season who has played pretty much every game for Zaksa. He hasn't gotten sick and he hasn't gotten hurt. And I so desperately hope that continues. But especially, I don't know what's going on with David Smith. He didn't even suit up in this game. If he took the rest of the season off, I wouldn't blame him. And I would kind of prefer it. Take something that somewhat resembles an off season now and get ready to go try and win an Olympic medal. I'm worried. I'm worried about these American guys and the wear that this season has had on them mentally. This has just got to be so difficult mentally, and clearly now they are completely broken and shattered, and they lost a set to Katowice 25-10. And I do not know where you go from here. The dynasty of Zaksa is over. It was amazing while it happened. I think that it might even benefit them to not make the playoffs at this point.
You're not wrong. Yep. It's really just tough to watch. But hey, good on Katowice. That really helps them in the standings. They're now in 13th place. Well, tied for 13th alongside Czestochowa.
Okay.
So, but this was not the only upset this weekend, Rob, as that was like basically we had 4 upsets in a row. If you look at the standings, the Saturday night game, and then on Sunday, Lublin takes down Warszawa 3-1. Gdansk takes down, Belchatov takes down Gdansk 3-2, and then Barkom Lviv, straight out of Ukraine, takes down Zawiercie in 5 as well. First and foremost, Lublin, a 3-1 win over Warszawa. When I first saw this happening in the score, and I got to watch a little bit in the morning, I was really surprised. But then I looked at the standings, and Lublin's actually putting together a pretty decent season right now.
They're good. They're
points in 6th.
They're in the Polish Cup. They're playing in the Polish Cup quarterfinals tomorrow against Varsovia. Like, they were a top 6 team the first half of the season. So yeah, Luke Lublin's no joke. Alexander Ferreira, the Portuguese guy, is having a really good year and was great on the outside. 56% efficiency in this game. I hate giving Damian Schultz credit because I hate his game, but he was really good in this one.
17 for 29.
Yep. And then Warszawa just didn't really have it. Nothing going for Kevin Tilley. Well, actually, Arthur Schalpok was really good, but a little too error prone for Bartłomiej Boange, excuse me. Igor Grabelny off the bench, not great. Didn't see Taylor Averill, which is disappointing. And then File didn't play either. So you lose your starting setter, and that certainly hurts. But yeah, this was just the week of upsets. I think only JSW and Resovia, those are the only like top level teams to not lose this week.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at this one, it's the battle of the efficiency. 43% efficiency, 58% hitting for Warszawa, 54% efficiency, 61% hitting for Lublin. So that was just a straight up better game from
what a performance.
Lublin.
Marcin Komenda, the setter for Lublin. That is an awesome game.
Yeah, those are fantastic numbers for sure. Heading over, Skra Beltsov. Is this the comeback? Okay, probably not,
No.
but still a nice little win in 5 here, led by Adrian Aciobanite. Is that definitely?
Yeah, you actually were pretty close there. He's Romanian. He's one of those, another like young Romanian kid that is going to be really good for their national team for a long time. Yeah, he dropped 24 on 48% efficiency, which is sick. And then Mateusz Poremba in the middle, who was in the national team program at least the last couple years, but that has faded into obscurity a little bit. He was really good. 16. Yeah, 16 for a middle, 10 for 11 with 6 blocks. That's nice.
Yeah, 6 break points. That's not bad at all for Skra. Man, I want to see Skra get back to where they were. I really do. We just make the landscape just even more interesting.
I don't know very much about this Nasovic guy.
I was literally going to say, we're going to copy paste this because and go to check him out. Volleyball.
Did get blocked 8 times, but he dropped 28 on 25 for 44, 2 aces and
a block. He's a 2003 Rob, so he is 21 years old.
Where's he from? Is he?
He's from Poland. It looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Polish. Volleybox, when you open it now, has so many prompts. Like, shoot me now. You go on here every friggin' day. Why can't you remind me? Why does volleyball suck? Why can't we figure out technology? Like, why? Sorry, Volleybox, I love you, but like, let's figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, the pop-ups on Volleybox recently have been too much. Oh yeah, good for Skra. Skra, believe it or not, Everett, I think right now is sitting in 8th in the league. I think they might be in playoff position. Yeah, they are. Them and Stalnissa are tied at 29 points.
Okay. Yeah, he's been playing for Gdansk for a few years. He was a part of that the U21 World Championship team this past summer as well.
Okay. Nasovic, keep an eye on that name. Last one, of course, is a big one. Barkom Lviv continues a very bad week for Varta Zavierce. Lose in a golden set to Resovia, lose to a Ukrainian team, and I have to assume our boy Luciano Polonsky was pretty good. Actually, no, not really very good at all. Wow.
He was very bad, which is real surprising for me. Instead, he dropped 22. Ilya Kovalov had 25.
That's a middle.
And
Gaye is a middle. 22 from middle?
Yeah, that's nuts. He was 13 for 20, 3 blocks, and 2 aces.
Blocks.
No, sorry, 7 blocks. Holy. And 2 aces. That is not bad at all. And then you also had Vasil Tupci adding in another 24. He was 21 for 43 with a couple of blocks and an ace himself. Dang. Klevno had 21 in this one. He was 21 for 40 at a 45% efficiency. Other than that, not much going on. 15 for Kwolek and only 13 for Butrin. He was 9 for 25 with a 12% efficiency, Rob.
Yeah, Kwolek was even worse. Blocked 6 times. Yeah, low efficiency for Zavierce. Maybe just
26%.
They do have Thibault Rossard now. You see that they picked him up to replace Sam Cooper, who hurt his back. Maybe he's the guy that needs a little more court time. Zavierce made a bunch of changes in the 5th set. Didn't work. They need to right the ship a little bit after losing that game to Resovia. And fortunately for all of them, they have the Polish Cup, the quarterfinals coming up tomorrow and Wednesday.
It sucks for them because they technically went 6-6 in sets this week.
5 and 6 in sets. Yeah, 5 and 6 in sets. They won 5 sets. They lost the golden set and they lost 3 here.
Yeah, true. True.
I
But
know,
yeah,
that's only 5-4 in sets, and they went 0-2. That sucks. Zawiercie, though, they do have a nice quarterfinal matchup in the Polish Cup. They get some second division team called Rudzianets.
yeah.
Nothing about them. And then Warszawa also gets a second division team, Anioli Torun. No, nothing about them. So Warszawa's
The
game
logo for first of all, they're the Cuck Angels.
the what?
CUK, the Cuck Angels. I didn't stutter. Okay. Where was your head at, Sinclair? What kind of websites do you spend your time on?
Relax.
But their logo, real quick, is real fucking cool. Like
Okay.
the angel holding that is a VLA level logo right there. Are you looking at it on the Plus
I
Liga
am.
site?
It's
Like
pretty cool.
The angel holding the volleyball. I love that. That
It's
might
pretty
be
cool.
that might be one of the best logos in professional volleyball.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I had it so I could put it on the screen. Yeah, so that team with the angel logo, they play Warszawa tomorrow, and then Resovia plays Lublin tomorrow.
Yes,
and then
that would be a good one.
Wednesday, JSW versus Gdansk is a good one, and then Zawiercie against some second division team called Rudzianets is also Wednesday. So yeah, that's
and then
it's
on
interesting.
Friday,
I kind of like how the Polish Cup does, like they let the second division teams play in it as well. I think that's pretty cool. Not that any of them are going to get past this stage, but I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Some other notable games to look at from the Plus Liga this weekend. Friday, Zaksa takes on another terrible team, so that's going to be interesting. They take on Delorme in the only game on Friday. Resovia takes on Olsztyn in the early game on Saturday. JW takes on Lviv. Zawiercie against Lublin. That'll be garbage. But then Warszawa against Gdansk.
That's good.
Wait, no. Is it Lublin
Yeah.
or no? Sorry, they play Lubin.
Kuprum Lubin, who is
Lubin.
much worse than Luke Lublin.
Yeah.
I do want to. I feel bad for Olsztyn because Nicolas Sherzhin is out for the season. He had a minor surgery, but surgery nonetheless, and he's done for the year. So I love Nico. I think his game is awesome, and I hope the best for him. But yeah, he's done for the year for Olsztyn, and they are handcuffed badly by the foreigner limit without him. So what they're probably going to have to do is sit Josh Tuaninga for the rest of the year.
Ooh, or bring one in. I guess
they would have to bring in a Polish outside hitter. That's not going to happen. I think the three foreigners would have to be Karwicek, Armoa, and Allen. And so they would just need to, whoever their backup Polish setter is, I think is going to have to be the guy, unfortunately, because Sherzhin's hurt.
Terrible.
It sucks. So yeah,
all right, Rob.
Tomorrow and Wednesday we'll have our eyes on that. Stateside, last but not least.
Absolutely. Let's head over to the PVF where things are starting to really heat up. There's two games going on right this moment. Last time I checked the score, they were both tied at one set apiece. And it's funny, Rob, because coming into the season, this Omaha team was ranked number 1. So far, it has been a rough start for them with a 2-1 start. They lose to Vegas, and Vegas was in their first ever match. I do have to say, I really like the Vegas jerseys. The ombre, like white to gold, is really nice, but the blue teal to green teal that they have in their other jersey, just real nice.
Some good looks, good branding in the PVF. I think their league's doing a good job with that. Yeah, I watched this match. It was good. Very good debut for Vegas. Their offense was okay. Somebody named Hannah Maddox, who I don't really know anything about, led him in scoring with 22, but tied with Molly McCage, who's a middle. 8 blocks plus 14 for 32 attacking as a middle is outrageous. And she's across from the Canadian Lane Van Buskirk. And Omaha gets a little bit of a break because Brooke Nonaviller hurt her ankle and didn't play. So they were missing one of their starting outside hitters. That's a tough break.
Yeah, that is a bit of a tough break for Omaha. They are playing right now, I believe, against Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Omaha's playing Grand Rapids.
Yes.
And that is 22-22 in the third. Yeah, somebody in the chat brought up earlier that Omaha won the second set in that match 33-31. So that's fun. We gotta go back and watch that. What are the other games that happened this week? We had Grand Rapids beat Atlanta. Atlanta's first loss of the year.
Honestly, like I watched this one too. I really, really like this Grand Rapids team. First of all, you have Abbott and Claire Chaudet on the left side. That might be the best dynamic duo here in the PVF from what I've seen so far. I really, really like them, and they have the legend in Dimitrova on the right side too. So they have a little bit international flair. And then their setter. Who is their setter? Evans.
Ashley Evans, Purdue girl. I love Ashley.
Yeah,
I've known her for years.
I loved her game. She's just a bit of a grinder. She's a big body out there, blocks well. And yeah, I was really surprised by how Grand Rapids really dictated this match. And they did a good job at, you're not going to stop Leah Edmond. And I think we're starting to see that she's one of the best offensive players in this game. But they're doing a really good job in the same way that Verona was targeting Leal. Every serve was going to Leah Edmond's way. But they just do a really good job. They've got 3 good pin headers. They're strong down the middle. They got a strong setter. So far, from what I've seen, Grand Rapids is my favorite team now.
Yeah, and I think this is only their second match. I'm pretty sure they're 2-0.
It was their second match. So now they are the perennial undefeated team currently in the PVF.
Yeah, respect. Yeah, Claire Chaudet, Simone Abbott is a very good outside duo, and I love Ashley Evans. I'm really happy for her and excited for her.
Where did Abbott play?
I forget. Dang it. Yeah, I don't remember.
So currently, Atlanta is up 2-1 on Orlando, but down 16-18 in the fourth. So that's one of the matches you can check out. And there's actually another one going on. I know Grand Rapids is
playing Omaha right now, which is also probably a really good game. So I want to wrap up this show and go watch those games. Last match that happened was Orlando.
23 all in the third at the moment.
Okay, yeah, Orlando beat Vegas. Orlando seems like they haven't played in forever. I really still am confused by the schedule in this league, but that included a 25-10 win in the second set, which is a beatdown of epic proportions. Your girl Shaina Joseph, again, not very good, unfortunately, Everett.
Shy.
They won anyway, though.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Look at Vegas. What were their stats? Lane Van Buskirk, not good either. Not a good match for Canadians.
Ooh, that's a little bit tough. It's going to be interesting to see, and I'm going to be interested to see because like both Van Buskirk and Shaina Joseph are athletes who played professionally, but also played in the NCAA. Both of them went to Final Fours. I'm pretty sure. Lane Van Buskirk with Pitt and Shaina Joseph with Florida. So it's going to be interesting to see if, as the league continues and more teams get on, if youth sports players are going to be able to jump in. If it was in the men's side, then for sure you'd see that, but I don't know if it's on the women's side, like the best of our best play for the national team. But still, these two games, once again, like I'm watching this Grand Rapids team. They have Sarah Sponsel as their lib. I love watching
indoor again.
I loved watching her play on the beach, and I love her watching her play indoor. So yeah, definitely, we'll definitely keep watching it. It's a little tough, I feel like, with the PVF because of the lack of the amount of games and the fact that not every team plays every week, right? And
the schedule is very confusing.
Yeah, like we're 3 weeks into the league now, and like some teams have played 4 teams, some teams have played each other. You know, like I would like there to be a little bit more with that. But on the flip side of it, someone in the chat is asking about the attendance for volleyball internationally. The PVF numbers are blowing international attendance out of the water.
Yes, they are.
Like the crowds that they're getting at PVF matches are way bigger than the crowds that you're getting at professional matches, even in Italy and in Turkey. So that's awesome. Where things aren't as great though, Rob, is you're seeing consistently the number of views go down match by match.
Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah, and the broadcasts are just not good. I mean, I have to keep saying it. I was watching. It is hard to watch. I was watching Vegas versus Omaha last, I think Wednesday night, and I think that at least the games in Omaha are being broadcast by like some basically local TV station in Omaha. They were swapping out entirely different score bug graphics in the middle of the match. It was remarkably scattered and weird and unprofessional. And as many things that this league is doing well, I still don't understand why the broadcast. What is this game number like 7 of the season? They have not figured that part of it out yet, and it's going to be a problem for them.
Hey, if anyone from the PVF is watching, if you guys need help with your broadcasts and live streams, I know some people who do a pretty good job, get some pretty good numbers.
And yeah, check out the homepage of this very YouTube channel.
Just give us a call. Hell, if there's any like organization or anything that just wants to hire me straight up, I'd love a job. I'd love a job, period. So if you're from Toronto and you're hiring, let me know. But yeah, if you're a PVF team and you're hiring, I'll shag balls.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in this league who could use our expertise, that's for sure. But yeah, there are 2 good games going on right now. I'd like to go watch them and see what's going on. Before we do that, we had a super big weekend in the VLA over the weekend. How many matches did we have? I think we were in 2 different regular season spots for Tier 1. There were 2 additional Tier 2 events. I think we played 33 matches this weekend in 4 different places, and that is so cool.
So Rob, I was following some of the scores this weekend from the VLA. I'm not sure what I'm more impressed and surprised by, the fact that Swede was beaten up on their Chicago teammates, or the fact that Team Pineapple finally managed to pull off a win.
Yeah, Team Pineapple's win was a reverse sweep. Down 0-2. Yeah, down 0-2 on Sunday morning. They came back and beat Swede like 16-14 in the 5th. So that was super dramatic, and they needed that win badly. However, they're 1-7, and their playoff hopes are not looking super great. But I got to give the Chicago Swede a ton of credit, man. I mean, that they have felt like the little brother to the Icemen as far as Chicago teams go since long before the VLA was founded, and they the Swede beat the Icemen twice this weekend, and the last match yesterday afternoon was the highest level I've ever seen Swede play in any format anywhere. They were unbelievable in that game.
Okay.
I dare say maybe championship caliber good. They were really, really good. And they've got, they're 14 guys deep. They basically like platooned 2 different starting 7s and came out of this weekend 3-1. And they're a player. They're really, really legit.
Sweet. Love to see it. Chicago. I feel like there's like 8 VLA teams in Chicago though.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got 2 Tier 1. I think we got 3 Tier 2 teams around here. I mean, my city has a ton of volleyball.
From an orange team recently, just talking smack. I loved it.
That was sweet. That was sweet.
Was that Swede with the old school Phoenix Suns jerseys?
Yeah, that's them. They look awesome, eh?
They do look awesome. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of guys playing volleyball wearing headbands. They are always like, and that one guy with the headband on Swede, this is from the one clip I've seen.
Austin Nace, shout outs to him.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, I already can tell that you're the type of player that I would hate to play against, but love to have on my team. Like,
that's actually a great example. So in that first match of the weekend, the Icemen were up 2-1 on Swede, up big in the 4th, and then Austin Nace got pissed off. He had a net call that didn't go his way, then went to the right side, rotation 1. He plays outside hitter, banged a ball 1-on-1 cross court, ripped an ace, got a ball back, and ripped like maybe the best bick of the season, like against no block, and ran under the net and talked trash. It was awesome. It was so much fun. So go back and watch some of these games. The other thing we had was the longest set in league history. We had 42-40 in match 3. Set 1 of match 3, the Icemen beat Team Pineapple 42-40. And there's Andre Brown.
Yeah, I was gonna say Andre Brown looking good. My boy looking good.
Of course,
one day we're gonna poach him. We're gonna start up some VLA teams here in Toronto, and we're gonna come bring him back.
Oh, he lives in Chicago now. He actually just got his green card to stay in.
Yeah, actually, I did see that on Instagram the other day. So I was like, shit.
Haha, we're keeping him. And then elsewhere, we were on the East Coast. The VLA was as well. Team LVC all-time 12-0 at this one event at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. 12-0. They've never lost in that building. It's insane. They're really good. And they're classic LVC. Like, they don't always have like all their guys because they have a bunch of guys who play overseas. They don't get to practice together nearly as much as Boston and the Northeast Force do, but they go out and win and go 4-0 in every single regular season event anyway. It's kind of remarkable. They're very good. Good crowds at that event too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, very, very, very good crowds. It was like a court at a juniors event, and there were several hundred people that I saw, like packed in,
Oh, sick.
several people deep around the court watching those games.
Nice.
So that was cool.
I'm still waiting for the time where we do the reshuffle, and we do like one tournament series, and the top 8 teams get into tier 1, and we lose some of this some of these dead weight tier 1 teams.
We basically have that with like all the VLA Cup tournaments, which is like they all get to play against each other. And historically, the tier 1 teams have not won very many of those, as Everett loves to point out on the show.
But they're all still tier 1 teams. So you don't have that. If all the tier 1 teams are losing these VLA Cup tournaments to tier 2 teams, but they're still tier 1 teams, then it's hard to justify that.
Well, the league's still young enough that we're still growing so much that once we add enough teams into tier 1, we will start relegating people. That is the plan.
I can't wait for it. Let's get with it. And once again, I keep on saying this is going to happen. There's going to be a Toronto team. We are 100% going to be a tier 1 team. Some of the talent that we're finding in like pro talent, like former pro guys. Ooh, it's gonna be fun.
Well, figure it out and put a team in. You've been talking about it for 3 years. Let's make it happen.
Oh, I know. It's just money. None of the guys want to pay for it, and I don't have the money to pay for it.
Get sponsors. A lot of these VLA teams are really good at getting sponsored, and they have good media, and they have good branding, and they have their organizations together. And there's a lot of teams in our league doing a really good job right now.
Love it.
I think we'll be in Phoenix this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, are you heading down to Phoenix?
I'm not. I won't be there. Vince can run that event. He'll be fine. So Phoenix, then Boston in a couple weeks, then Cincinnati, which I'll be at. A lot going on. I think.
Well, you don't want to go to Boston?
I went to Boston last year. It was awesome. It was great. I had a great time. I love that city. I just can't go this year.
All right, cool. All right, Rob, let's go watch some PVF. Let's get to the end of these games. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Remember, you got Polish Cup tomorrow, Superliga on Wednesday. Nothing going on Thursday. Watch Zaksa maybe lose on Friday, and then of course volleyball all weekend long. We love you. We adore you. Be nice to people. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. I want to see if it'll do like that reaction thing it did last week again. Is it going to do it?
Do the Gen Z hearts.
Oh, I don't even know how to do that one. There it is.
Yeah.
We love you guys. See you next Monday.